AITA for not agreeing that I, M23, male 23, was raised by a single mom. By you, Jose F. McLovin.
Goodness.
Wow, what are the chances, McLovin? My parents got divorced when I was 6 years old, and they had equal 50-50 custody of me and my older sister until each of us turned 18. My dad has remarried pretty quickly, and my mom has a few boyfriends who came and went over the years. Nothing too crazy, and was single most of the time. What made me mad was that from time to time, my mom, F59, makes comments about how she raised my sister and I as a single parent. I disagree and tell her that she raised us half of the time, while the other half we were raised by our dad, M58. Male 58. She then says that he didn't do much and that we were raised by a single mom who did everything for us. She even has my sister in the same mindset that because she was single, she was a single parent. AITA for saying that she's using the quote single parent unquote label incorrectly.
Oh, you sound like so much fun. Let's just get that right there. Yes. Yeah, I just want to know what to tell my therapist on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Was I in a bad situation or a good one? Please say bad. Please say bad.
I mean, I think it's, I'm aware because my father has called me and accused us of being a man-hating podcast.
It's my fault, I'm sure.
So I was
Good
a little
job,
proud
Sarah.
of it because
Thank you.
I'm a man coming for men. So there I go. But
Yeah, we're doing it. Feminism.
And I feel you, Hemda. I think there is something like, okay, like, are you really going to be the guy who's like, no, mom, you're not a single man. It's like, you freaking loser. But on the other hand, isn't it a little rude to the father?
Yeah, and also I think it's kind of rude to single moms who are literally like don't have male help or like other parental help.
Right. Because a single mother is generally someone where the father left or the father died or something like that.
Yeah, or just as MIA. That's what I think of anyway when I hear single mom.
I mean, I think your mom's mad at your dad. And for, I feel like, yeah, if you had 50-50 custody and you actually remember your childhood going 50% to their house and 50% to that house, if your mom is still mad, stop arguing with her about whether she was a single mom and find out the real juicy gossip.
Right.
What's she upset about? Was he with this woman before?
Right.
Like, there's not usually this much anger left over if you were 50-50. Unless your mom's a psycho, in which case, here's your opportunity to find out.
Right.
This is a good point.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where parents don't even want to talk about, what happened in the divorce or like you're too young to really understand. But I don't know. Think about when you were mad at like a significant other, you don't want someone arguing with you like, no, they were totally there for you.
That's so true.
Yeah. I mean, I think the like, you want to get to the underlying truth, right? Like you're kind of just being a dickhead by being like, no, you weren't. No, you were. It's like, find out what this is really coming from because it obviously reflects some kind of like deeply held resentment,
Yeah. And if you're going to keep going, no, you weren't, your mom's going to shut down and you won't really get to hear the hot goss. Like every time.
It shouldn't be about solving these family issues. It's about the tea.
Give me the juice.
Yeah. Like every time, the older generation is more shut down than the younger generation always. So if your mom is finally opening up about this 50-50 divorce, maybe she is bitter. Find out why.
That's true. I also think there's like so much, and honestly, it's stereotypically women who do this. Like there's so much emotional labor that all the women do that the men don't do. So like even if the dad is doing 50-50 custody, he might not be like planning all the meals and coordinating who's going to pick the kids up and who's going to take them to the doctor and like all this other unspoken stuff.
Can I stop you for a second there? Because I've run into that term.
You are so anti-feminine.
Oh my God.
How dare you stop me?
Oh my God.
Hemda.
It's finally happening.
On her birthday.
They're taking my head. They're taking my head.
happening?
No, take the wire off. Take the piano wire off away from my neck. So you said emotional labor, and I had actually never heard that term, and I started running into it similarly. But then all the examples you said to me, I would just call labor, right? You were like taking the kids to school, making plans and stuff like that. What is emotional labor?
I think emotional labor is
not yelling at you constantly.
Yes.
Seems like a low bar for work.
Yeah. No, it really is just like the unspoken things. And a lot of it is like planning and coordination that people don't count as work, but is necessary to like keep often the household running is when it's referred to like planning out the meals, like figuring out like the grocery shopping, like
That's
stuff
emotional labor.
Taking into account how you're feeling when we're talking about groceries and going around your emotions that you can't handle so that we can get to the end result.
Okay.
That's emotional labor. So you might be like kind of in the middle of like starting your hissy fit. I will calm down more so that we don't escalate this. So I'm always sort of like sidestepping your emotions, you know, so that we can come to an agreement so that our kid can have a better life.
Is part of it just also like as simple as listening? Like, does that count for emotional labor? Like, like hearing your partner vent and stuff like that? Is that?
I think that can count.
Okay. Well, it was actually used at a roast. They kept saying this guy caused a lot of emotional labor, and he's a very loud man. So that's he's loud and tall and white. Enough said.
Too much.
Yeah.
I'm a man hater.
I can't do it.
Well, Jenna C. writes, YTA for not having the emotional intelligence to realize she is seeking acknowledgement and love. She may have co-parented, but it sounds like the work required to support a household, which she pays for 100% of the time, whether you're physically present or not, was done alone. I think that's a really good look into where she's coming from, because like on the one hand, I think it's kind of like a little bit irresponsible for her to like, if she was going out and be like, I was a single parent in front of like a single mom who's going to probably take some umbrage with that.
Yeah.
Like, no, I was actually a single mom, but like she was saying it like to him. I mean, based on the situation, but like,
he's right.
He's right.
He's absolutely
He's right.
right.
But he's also like, she's also right too. Like,
what's he getting out of being right here?
Nothing.
That's what you really have to think about. Like, you are absolutely right. What are you getting out of your mom knowing that you're right? Like, technically, this is terrible of you to say. Like, do you really need to be the PC police for your mom? Or do you want to have an adult relationship with her where, like this person said,
right,
she's trying to tell you something.
Yes.
So have the emotional labor in your back pocket to be like, before I judge this, before I get angry about this, let me get curious about it, and then I'll have the information to hate her, and then go ahead and hate her.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think this comes up often a lot on like Reddit and probably in the podcast. Like, people conflate being right with not being the asshole. And it's like, no, you can still be technically right, but you're kind of being an asshole right now.
Well, and I think part of that is that she's not totally wrong. She's not the most conventional version of a single parent. And like, I could see a single parent being offended, but like, she did not, like, this is not an ideal. This is not the family situation that anyone is idealizing.
I don't know. She's wrong. I think she's wrong, but it doesn't matter.
Well, but
I don't think she's a single mom, but I also think there's a difference between like having someone basically not having like full-time help. She kind of has like part-time parenting help, but not the full-time. So,
but that's not a single mom.
You're okay, yeah. But like, I'm with you. She's not a single mom. She's like half. She's not. She's not a single mom. She's not.
It's okay, but you don't have
She
to
was a mom and she was single at the time.
Yeah,
and that's what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's not. That doesn't like conjure the same thing when you say you're a single mom.
No, it's not the same, but it's not the same also as being in a loving, committed marriage, right? And like just to.
But you don't know that the father was in a loving, committed marriage. It might have been more tough for him to be, shacked up with this woman.
Absolutely, she may be terrible.
Find out the hot gosh.
She
I
may
don't know.
be terrible.
Come on, OP, deliver.
But to see your side a bit, right? OP says, my dad has remarried pretty quickly and my mom has a few boyfriends who came and went over the years. And look, there is a plight, to being a single mom, right? Or like there, I said it, because she kind of is a single mom, you guys. She kind of is.
In the dating world, I think that's where she would be seen as a single mom, because it's like you're a single woman and you got kids.
Yes,
and like
there you go.
That's how you're going to be.
Which sucks, right? Which sucks.
It does suck.
I think, Sarah, you hit it, and she that might be where in her head she's right. Like, she has encountered the world looking at her as a single mom in the dating world, or maybe just in the sad, like, oh, you're not with a man world. Like, if you talk to her a little more before you just get mad at like the technical difficulties of this conversation, you might find out what she means by that. Yeah. And you could still be right at the end of it, but then you'll be not an asshole. Yeah. You'll just be right for the right reasons.
Right.
Oh, I like that.
Right. Rusty M says, YTA, but not going to lie, I came in to say NTA until I read the comments. I was probably using the same logic as you, but you're thinking about the fact that you had 2 or 3 parents in your life, but from her point of view, she was the only parent in her home with you. He might have taken care of you and your sister half the week, but when you're with her, she was responsible for everything all on her own.
Yeah, which I think is kind of, I mean, I don't know this lady, but probably more what she was getting at was like when she was on duty, she was doing everything herself.
Well, yeah, and I mean, what would you say? So, like, maybe she's getting alimony or child support.
I mean, yeah,
from this
and
guy,
split
but,
custody.
Like, yeah, and split custody, but like, you know, split custody is not the same as having kids with someone else, you know, with someone, right? Like,
also, do you know that your mom was getting that custody money? Right? Maybe she's mad because she didn't. Like, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Make some tea and sit down and shut the fuck up.
Is tea your thing?
I guess so.
I was offered
tea is
tea.
good.
I tried to turn it down. Hemda's like, have some tea.
Yep.
Are you being shy? I was like, fine, I'll have tea. I'm not shy. I'm a big boy.
I am half Persian and they love tea.
Rico P says, question for you. The ask is, quote, am I the asshole? Not, quote, might I be technically correct? Wow. Echoing your statement, Hemda. He says, so do you think it's possible to be semantically correct and still an asshole for insisting in any context? Because a mother trying to feel venerated, I don't even know what that means, and appreciated by her child strikes me as a time, if any, to bend a strict adherence to semantic purity.
Okay, this guy used too many big words.
This comment hurts my head.
You sound so smart.
He does. Even maybe, I don't even know if these words were used correctly. We'll just assume.
That he's smarter than us.
Yeah, totally.
Let's give it to him. Top comment on Reddit, tech_philosophy. Heck of a username. Let's hang out. Tech philosophy. Bitcoin, NTA. But context is key. If she is trying to convince you of this or override your narrative, feel free to talk about how your dad helped raise you. On the other hand, if it's something she says to herself or her friends, let her. There are probably hardships your parents went through raising you while divorced that there's just no word for. Try to be compassionate about that, but don't let her walk over your dad if you feel he pulled his weight. So I think that I don't like
that because then it implies that the mom is the asshole. I don't really feel like she is.
Also, like, you can't defend your dad. Your dad defends your dad. You be the kid still. Don't defend your mom. Don't defend your dad. You don't even have enough information.
Yeah, no, I ultimately that's where I'm kind of settling here. But like this, there's so many things that she could mean by this. It could mean like, I felt like raising you was really hard. Like it wasn't fun for me. And it probably wasn't. She's got boyfriends in and out of the door. It was probably pretty brutal for her. Her dad, you know, had a consistent, he remarried quickly. Like, so it could be coming from that. It could be coming from like her dad was sincerely a dickhole. We don't know. She could just be merely jealous of him because he went on to have an okay life, you know?
Yeah, she could be completely petty. Is your mom a petty bitch? Then be an asshole. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like you're like, I can't believe you're not using the exact words that I can relate to it. Just chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
And like, is she trashing the dad all the time? Or is this just like one instance in which she's kind of sort of implying to throw him under the bus?
Yeah,
you know?
you would think you would have more examples. If this is really about shitting on dad, like it's pretty I mean, it's kind of a weird, bad negative.
It's like it's almost a non-insult. Like, okay, whatever, who cares?
And even if she's constantly shitting on your dad, still don't defend him. Maybe your dad was a shitty dad in a way that you don't know. He was a good dad to you, but a bad co-parent with your mom.
Right.
Don't defend that either. Just go, you know what? I'd rather not hear that about dad. Why don't you tell it directly to him?
Yeah, and I think at this point, he's 18, and I think, or over 18, that's appropriate. You know, your parents are people at this point.
Fight with my dad if you have something to say. I don't care. Maybe he is an asshole. What do you want to do today? You know?
So, AITA for not agreeing that I was raised by a single mom. Ultimately, I am going to say YTA because I don't think there's enough evidence to bring down like mom. And I think he is being kind of a semantic, smart ass.
Yeah, because I think if there was more reason, you'd be happy to share it with us. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say YTA on that.
Yeah. YTA.
YTA.